So I'm working on a Lexus RX300, and I'm getting a Misfire P0304, which is this cylinder right here. And you can run a coil diagnostic. I have the key on it on the accessory mode to right before start. And I'll show you what I'm getting here. So I have the have it on volts, and I have it on ground over there. So here is the power, and power is getting, and I don't know if you can see that, that's getting about 12 volts, which is what it should get on accessory. Like I said, the key's right before the start. The second wire is actually the 5 volt going to the ECM to tell the coil when to fire. That's the one I thought was culprit. I thought the wire was actually broken, but I'm getting 5 volts as I'm getting with the one that is working here in cylinder number 6. I get 12 there. I get 5 volt here. And ground works too. I checked it. So I am perplexed as to what's going on. I first thought this car being so old, it's my wife's car. I thought maybe one of the wires had severed somewhere along the harness, but if that was the case, I wouldn't be getting 12 or 5 volt here from the fire. The third connector here is to give feedback that the coil is firing, and if it's not, if the coil's hiccuping, you'll get this sends a signal that it is having a problem, and it sends it back to the ECU for to trip the check engine light. So when you read it, it'll tell the actual code. I put a new coil in here. That didn't solve it. I took the spark plug out, regapped it. They were a little bit old. I just replaced them about 4 or 5 years ago. So they're a little old. They're a little bit out of gap from wear, but it was a little wet, and I cleaned it, regapped it, put it back in. Swap coils again. I tried swapping coils between these three, and still this P0304 still exists. So I don't know if it's, even though this is reading 5 volts, if it's actually sending a signal to the coil, because these coil on plugs, they're actually, this is what actually ramps up the power to send the spark to the spark plug. These are just low voltage. Like I said, this is 12. I'll even put it on high here, DC high. So there's an even 12 right there. There's an even 5. And I can even check ground. The ground is the 4th wire, so if you check it here, let me see if I can do it without covering my fat hands up here. There's your 12 volt right off the 4th ground wire. So all the wires are getting continuity, which kind of solves that question of whether or not there's a severed wire somewhere, being that this car is so old. So I am a little bit out of answers here to figure out why this thing. I don't know if it's a bad ECM. I can feel the injector actually. I don't think the injector would actually tie into giving off a misfire, but let's say it did. I can actually feel the injector. My hand on this pertaining cylinder is actually, I can feel it, moving back and forth, it ticking. So, boy, if anybody's got any ideas, I'm open to suggestions.